Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcat production, with your hosts Melanie Hope and James Monis. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're watching our live show, hit like and join the chat. If you're listening dead, well, you can still hit like, share, subscribe, and comment, but please stop voting Democrat. Hey everybody, welcome. It is another fabulous, beautiful, fantastic, amazing, and so very warm Sunday here at Counterculture Wise Studios. And have we got a show for you?
Indeed.
I am your hostess with the mostest, Ms. Melanie Hope, and to my right is my right-hand man, happens to be my husband, my co-host, my very best friend, and my sweet babu, Mr. James Monis.
Hey, Melanie.
Hey, Jim.
How many optometrists does it take to change a light bulb?
8.
No.
No?
1 or 2? 1
Uh,
or 2?
okay, that was very visual. He's doing the thing where they do click the thing. 1 or 2? 1 or 2, yeah. So if you've ever been to an optometrist, that joke was hilarious.
But if you haven't, get to one. You're going blind, you silly stooge.
You have no idea what we were just doing.
Yeah.
Cute. Alrighty. My dear sweet husband, how has your week been?
It's been very well. I'm learning my new job. It's going very well. I'm prepping to write a book, as are you, starting next week.
Yes.
We're doing it through...
Not NaNoWriMo.
Not NaNoWriMo, but what's it called? It's something like that. It's...
Incra something or other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff.
It's actually a program that helps you with your writing, and they're sponsoring their own little thing, which, it's actually 90 days. You spend October prepping, November writing, and December editing. So it's a little bit more complete.
I guess. I mean, the whole idea with NaNoWriMo is you pants it for the month
unless you're not a
November,
pantser, but I'm a pantser.
And then you spend the rest of the year editing.
It's like, prepping. That's so cute.
Yeah.
I'm not that way.
You're not, no.
Maybe I should be, especially since I have a particular bent I want to take this time that I haven't done before. But yeah.
So it's about time you got bent.
I'm just going to shut up. But yeah, it's been a real fun week. We became official members of our church today.
Yes, that was exciting.
And let's see. My dad is sending us some patriotic songs he wrote and sang.
I can't wait.
And
He's
we're gonna
so talented.
Try to get him on the show.
Such a sweet man. You'll love him.
Yeah. It's a little late to submit it to, the right places, but still, it'd be fun to hear, and I'll get the word out to a few people, see what I can do in advance. We early voted.
Yes, I voted.
And you know what was really cool? They asked for my ID.
Yeah.
I
got
used
a piece of paper.
A piece of paper for a ballot, which was afterwards scanned.
Uh-huh.
In other words, it's the way it was supposed to be.
Not in a Dominion.
Yeah, not a Dominion machine.
Yeah.
I felt very safe and secure about my vote counting.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're a red state, so our votes will probably be counted, but blue states, they've made it pretty much illegal to count the votes or be able to audit it.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Gee, I wonder why.
Gee, yeah. Wouldn't want the power structure to be messed with, like it was in 2016. So
Mess them up hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're back to the Hitler BS, which is really insulting to
Jews
Holocaust
and
survivors and Jews
yeah.
and
pretty much
just,
everybody
I mean,
who's
just
not.
so obnoxious
Yeah.
and just intellectually lazy.
Quite so.
I mean, come on, people, get over yourselves. So grow up.
Yeah.
And Kamala's like, yes, I do believe he's a dictator. Oh, so he just like forgot for those 4 years he was in office, and the whole thing about how he didn't leave peacefully. So he had to be like chained up and pulled
Dragged out
out.
kicking and screaming.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't happen. They're literally just making crap up, and the
Hey,
sad
she's
thing
made
is,
a career out of making crap up.
She's-
So, why stop now?
yeah, well,
If you do something and it works, keep doing it till it doesn't work anymore.
well,
Hopefully on
like
hopefully
they
on
say,
November
she
5th
went-
it won't work anymore.
she went vertical by getting horizontal. So,
Ba-ding ding.
ding ding.
There we go.
Okay, well, we like to start off our positive podcast by, talking about dead people. So
No,
off you go.
Really only one this week. I mean, there are probably others, but
They always come in threes, so
they always come in ones. The Phil Lesh, the bassist for the legendary band The Grateful Dead, passed on at the age of 84.
he's probably very happy,
Yes,
or at the
he's
very
quite
least grateful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He, I had the opportunity to see him and the band on 3 different occasions, and they were a great live band, and he was a big part of it because he was trained, listening to avant-garde jazz and that kind of thing. So he was able to once they went off on their improvisational jams, turning a 4-minute song into a 20-minute song. He was playing along with Jerry Garcia, and just it was a beautiful sound. Every now and then they would yell, the audience would yell, "Let Phil sing," and he'd sing that. The first time I saw them, he was
Let Phil sing.
yeah.
You just like sing random stuff.
Well, not random stuff, but there were a few songs he wrote
Yeah.
for the band, and he sang lead on, but there weren't that many of them, so he did get to sing on occasion, or he sang backup a lot, but singing lead didn't. But yeah, that leaves 3 longtime members of the band, and so everybody who is a fan of the Grateful Dead,
How old was he?
84.
Oh, okay, he lived a good life.
No, not bad, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. He had his own band with his family from 2014 till this year.
With his family, like the Partridge Family, like
No, the Phil Lesh and family, or Phil Lesh and friends.
that's so cute.
Yeah, cute. I don't know how cute it was. I haven't heard anything because after the Grateful Dead broke up, the remaining members would get together and do things every now and then, like Dead and Company, which he was not a part of, but for a few years they toured as The Dead without Jerry Garcia.
Without being grateful.
Yeah, not
The
more
Dead.
grateful. He was gone. Jerry's
So
gone.
nobody traveled as the Grateful. They just
No,
traveled
not
as-
yet.
Not yet.
Although
That might be coming.
That might be coming.
Okay.
Maybe you and I could do that.
No.
Oh,
Although we are grateful, we're very grateful.
yeah, we spend every day being grateful.
Yes. In fact,
Yeah.
we got some incredibly good news this last week. 'Cause, I don't know
Absolutely.
how much we've been sharing with the saga of the Kia, but long story short, it
Too
exploded.
late. Way too late.
It basically exploded hours after getting an oil change, and the oil change company's like, and Kia was like, and it's like, okay, so I'm just left holding the bill here because that's not fair. So we towed it somewhere, and they're like, oh, you've got to do this $400 diagnostic, and nobody's going to touch it, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, why should I pay for that? I mean, we're talking literal hours after an oil change and a brand spanking new battery, which, cost as much as the stupid diagnostic. And so lather, rinse, repeat for several weeks. And this is back in August.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, this is just dragged on and on and
Yeah.
on and on.
Our neighbors, God bless them, helped us out in a lot of different ways. I
In a
won't
lot
go
of
into
different
too
ways.
much details.
We don't want to go into too many details, but
one
we
of
are
our
very
neighbors
blessed.
is, kind of a handyman. looked at our car and
Yeah.
helped us out in a few ways.
So what we were getting was from the, I'm not going to name any names, but from the oil change company, they were saying, well, obviously there's oil in your car, so we didn't do anything wrong. It's like, okay, but what kind of kawunky donkey is it? They said, oh, well, we found this recall notice, so that must be what it is. And then
Well-
Kia was saying, well, yeah, we already serviced your car for the recall, so it wasn't us, so and then they would just ping pong back and forth, but nobody would talk to me.
So finally, we just
finally
bit
we
the
just
bullet and
towed it to Kia,
dragged it to Kia
paid
dealer.
the thing to get the diagnostic, and it turns out that it is indeed part of the recall. And they were very
under the
under the $100,000 mile
barely.
warranty that was extended because of the recall, and they were contrite considering that they were the exact shop that had looked at it for that and said everything was kosher and it was just a software upgrade. Well, obviously it was not. So that is getting fixed, and I should
and not
have
at our expense,
and not at our expense. Just a wee bit of money for some belts and hoses that
which
I would
we
have had to.
would have needed to do anyway.
Yeah. So yay, that's awesome and amazing and wonderful and fantastic, and hopefully that engine will fix my little 2017 and let her last another 5 years or so. And if you'd like to contribute to the Save the Kia Fund, hey,
Drop
everything. And head on over. Don't leave the podcast. Open another tab.
There you go.
And head on over to counterculturewise.com, where we have got all kinds of fun things, ways to contribute. We've got merchandise. We've got books. We've got ways that you can help us help you save some money. We're going to have Coffee Brown Coffee up there pretty soon. I've been meaning to do that forever, but I got the go-ahead on that, and a few other things, so check it out. There's all kinds of fun ways to support the podcast, but of course you can always just buy our crap, send us dough, the whole gig, because all of us are begging online for money at this point because we are completely demonetized everywhere else except a few places, not YouTube.
Right.
And yeah. So
I think that we need to talk about Donald John Trump, not the presidential candidate, but the human being.
Are we allowed to do that?
Well,
Are we allowed to see him as a human being? 'Cause
well-
I get the impression that if you act like he's a human being, that just makes you evil, bad, and wrong. And
which makes the
tinfoil
management
hat.
of that McDonald's restaurant wrong, and certainly makes Joe Rogan
We'll
wrong.
talk about that later. That was a
yeah.
fun little stunt.
Yeah,
I thought it was
funny.
brilliant.
Oh, it was fun.
Brilliant.
But he sat there and chatted, and it really was more of a
It was just
conversation
chat,
than an interview.
Yeah. Like bros talking.
With he sat down with Joe Rogan and spoke for almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. And I love how it ended too. It was like, how long have I been talking? Oh wow, I got somewhere to go. And then went on and did a rally.
Yeah, in Texas, right?
Yeah. And
Or I think it was in Michigan. I don't remember, but
Donald Trump is tired, and he looks like he's old.
like, shut up. Little Miss took 2 days off, 12 days before.
that was her decision. I don't think it was
Well,
a
I
wise
mean,
one.
I don't think it mattered because all of her voters already wrote her in before they even knew she was candidate.
They weren't even primaried, which I think is really sad. They should have been able to have a primary vote.
They don't care.
Yeah,
Blue, no matter who, even if she's a brain dead twat waffle.
The opinions expressed.
We already played that.
I know.
Yeah. Anyways, it was really interesting. I do recommend, if you hate his ever living guts and you're not exactly 100% sure why, to go listen.
Or even if you're a fan, this will give you ammo.
There was a lot of really great moments.
They even talked.
Rogan asked the
talked,
questions that everybody wants to ask. Are there
Yeah.
really aliens, and what was in the JFK files?
Right.
And
I think that it was really cool that Mr. Trump did his best to answer without giving anything away, because that stuff is top secret and a little woo-woo and out there.
Well, I got the feeling that, much like me, Trump does not believe in aliens. He wasn't able to say one way or the other because they always have to trot that story out to, change the subject or whatever. But I really got the impression that he doesn't believe in them, and what little he was shown. And I think a lot was held back from him because basically he had a hostile team working against him the whole time he was in there.
And as far
But
as
I think all of the what do they call them? No-seums, they call them something different than UFOs now, but
right,
the EAPs or whatever the heck they're calling them, um, they're from Earth. They're probably secret military with all these drones and everything. I mean,
it could be a number of different things.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
just-
more interested, frankly, in their chatter about John F. Kennedy and
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr.
And what he got out was basically he was told leave it alone because there's still people alive who'd be affected.
Mm-hmm.
I got the impression that that's no longer so.
Right.
So I've been going through thinking, okay, since Trump was in office till now, what heavy hitters have passed on?
Mm-hmm.
I think McCain was already gone, or did he die during Trump's?
McCain died during. Well, I don't remember.
And
I
then-
think he might even be talking about his buddy RFK Jr., who he might have some knowledge
Maybe.
about his uncle.
Well, they're trying to kill them all. Let's just face it.
Well,
They're
yeah.
trying to kill them all. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't taken pot shots at Tulsi, although she probably tuck, roll, and fire back. So.
She's badass.
She's like a
She's-
superhero.
She is a superhero.
And then
She really is.
So they are actually at Madison Square Garden as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that means that it's a Nazi rally. That's what they've been saying, which
With
is
all the black
ridiculous.
and Asians and Hispanics and women
Yeah,
and all
I know
that.
it's
I've seen that.
hilarious. You know, you can't even say the word Nazi, 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 Nazi on YouTube. That'll actually get our show taken down.
I'm sorry.
People have to say the bad man
like
from the
Kenneth
19
Mars in The Producers. No, there's not. It wasn't. No, it was Nazis.
I did not see that coming. Yeah. You're not even allowed to say it, even if you're talking about how absolutely asinine it is that they're calling supporters of a guy who was in office for 4 years. Nobody got imprisoned, not even. I mean, he even had the wherewithal to not go after Hillary because he said that it would destroy the nation, and he was right. But they don't care. They're just going to juggernaut their way through the nation, destroy it, and leave the smoldering ashes behind them with a big old smile on their face. But he actually had the emotional maturity to avoid that, even though she deserves to be in prison. She is
Well,
a treasonous
she has
murderer.
payments on its way. It'll happen.
We'll see. It just feels like they all get away with everything all the time, and it's
Yeah.
really, really frustrating.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought this podcast. Joe Rogan has always been a really good
He's a good interviewer. Yeah.
And he
And he even said if he were to have, because he did extend it to Kamala, and of course she turned it down because she can't sit there and
she
talk
wouldn't be
for
able
more
to
than
sit
5
there
minutes.
for 5 minutes, a little
Yeah.
3 hours.
And
so,
you know,
yeah.
I don't. There are rumors that he ended up having to say no because she had so many stipulations, but those are just rumors, so I don't know.
Right.
One of the stipulations was that they weren't allowed to talk politics at all, and he's like,
kind of the point.
yeah.
Kind of the point.
But yeah, she's pretending like she has scheduling problems.
But Trump talked for the first time I've ever heard him talked about his first hours in office and
Yeah.
how surreal it was.
And that was so cool because he
And I talked
said when
about
he
being
got
in the
shot,
Lincoln
it
bedroom
wasn't
and-
surreal. He knew
Right.
everything that was going on and everything that was going on around him and exactly where he got hit and everything. And everybody else was freaking out, but he was pretty calm because he knew he was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, walking into the Lincoln bedroom,
Yeah, and he talked about how long the bed was because, Lincoln was a tall guy.
well, I mean, it didn't even need to be that long if he took his hat off.
Well, there's that. He talked UFC with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and what I found really fascinating, besides, I mean, his knowledge of sports, obviously but he really had historical knowledge that you don't assume, because everybody acts like he's just this big dummy.
Yeah.
But he knew all about the plaques and what they said and the history of the room and the history of, the living quarters and all of that. He knew all of that just off the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
Can you even imagine Biden trying to talk about any of that?
Yeah,
He probably doesn't even
he's
know
busy
where he is.
raging against Kamala. The
I think that's hilarious.
The rumors are that he's calling her all kinds of rotten stuff behind her back.
Well, they never liked each other. I mean, she
No.
called him a racist to his face.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
she
he's
literally.
blaming her for first of all taking his presidency away from him, and secondly, just running a garbage campaign.
It is a garbage campaign, but it's
But
working, unfortunately.
getting back to the interview with Trump, he also talked about, a lot of historical things. He talked about his perspective on tariffs, and did so in a way that was easy to understand and appreciate. You may not
Yes.
agree with tariffs,
Well, it
but
depends on how they're used.
but he was using it as a political tactic. He will continue to do so.
And the
and
whole
he-
thing about it being a tax, well, no, no. I mean, like he was saying, he was talking to Macron. Macron, is that how you say his name? Macron? Macron.
Well, Macron of France. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
even pretended a tiny itsy bitsy bit of a French accent, not Kamala style, but like in just
Yeah.
doing the narrative of how he talked to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, we'll just, if you're going to put this tariff on the United States of America, that's going to make it almost impossible for us to sell whatever it was, cars or whatever.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to give a 100% tariff for all your fancy cheeses and wines. Now, this isn't everyday things like Kamala's trying to make it out to be. She's like, oh, milk, eggs, and bread. Honey, those are all domestic things.
Right.
There's no tariffs on...
French
they're not making
cheese and
milk,
French
eggs-
wine
Yeah.
are luxury items.
Luxury items,
And they're already expensive. And so, I mean, just adding a tariff to it would make it
that's
very
not
difficult on
baby
them.
formula,
No,
that's
this isn't the
something-
basics of life. This
But
is,
the way she's talking, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, tampons and baby formula are going to be tariffed out of
and he also, one thing I loved about it is he admitted what those of us who followed Trump and have heard his speeches know. He may seem to go off on another topic, but he always eventually brings it back to the question. And
Yeah,
Joe,
and he did it
to his
multiple times.
credit, after repeating a question a few times, Joe Rogan figured it out that it's the same thing.
He calls it weaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just let him talk, and he did come back.
Yeah.
And he even said a couple of times, so let's bring it back to this. That was Trump himself who
Right.
said that.
Let's bring it back to this.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was insightful. If you really wanted to know more about Trump,
And funny. He's funny.
Oh, he's funny. But we talked about him last week at the Al Smith thing, how funny he can be. But he is a far more intelligent man than a lot of people give him credit for.
Well,
you have to in order to run those businesses like he does.
Yeah.
He knows, and he relates things that he's done, like, real estate development. That's his career. So he knows, and he's able to relate that to other things. And, he knew he wasn't a lifetime politician when he came in, but being a high-end luxury real estate developer, he had to work with a lot of politicians and, try to get things
Well,
passed.
and he
that
was
kind of thing.
beloved, and that's something that Rogan brought up too. Is like, well, before you ran for president, folks loved you. Even the broads on the View, who I have absolutely zero respect for, none at all. Most of them are so stupid. It's actually painful to watch them. And then somebody like Whoopi, who used to be brilliant and hilarious, was one of my favorite comedians. She has lost her ever-loving mind. And I don't know if it's because they've been paid off or what's going on, but he wasn't able to play the video, but a lot of other people have. Mm-hmm. Right before he came down that escalator, he was welcomed, hugged, kissed. They treated him fine. They even said, oh, I hear you're going to run for president. They were excited about it. And then the minute he announced, all of a sudden he's Hitler. It's like, what? I mean, how does that work? And really, can you imagine the actual bad guy that they keep, the mustachioed murderer that they keep talking about? Can you imagine going back in time and having a bunch of people sitting around and joking with him and drinking a beer with him and ha ha ha, and then like the next day they're like, oh, he's evil and we need to kill him? I mean, that didn't happen.
No.
That didn't happen. But it did with this guy, and it's like, but he didn't change anything.
Yeah.
Whereas, Kamala's already said, yeah, 1A, out of there, 2A, forget that noise, 4A, yeah, screw you, and just on down the line. And yeah, I might even stick a couple of soldiers in your house while I'm at it. She's
She's crazy.
But as long as we have the right to murder our babies.
And Trump was very direct about certain people who he thought were low IQ.
Yeah.
John Bolton, Kamala Harris, General Milley.
Millie, yeah, I want to say Miley, like Cyrus.
Yeah.
General Cyrus.
Total idiots.
He came in like a wrecking ball, yeah. Yeah, and he knows better now, and unfortunately he and that was very nice too, because they always say, oh, he has such an ego, can't admit he's wrong. Well, he just flat out said, yeah, I hired poorly.
And it's because he there's a certain math you have to calculate, because I think he said 10,000 hires. Well,
yeah.
he can't personally vet every single person.
Yeah.
He has to run the country, so he trusted untrustworthy people.
Yeah, that's the problem.
To cast, hire, whatever.
And that's the thing people don't realize, when you come into the White House, there's like a full staff. I mean, it's like if you were to go to Downton Abbey, you're not going to get brand new maid staff, brand new cook, brand new this, that, and the other. You're going to come in, you're going to get all the same old people that were there before. And that goes all the way up to the administrative assistants and the people who are in roles that really do affect the country politically, and they are grandfathered in for years and years and years and years, and they'll stay there for administration
until they die,
after administration after administration. And if they have certain loyalties, well, then the guy that goes against those loyalties is screwed, because they will work against him, or gal, the guy or gal. Kamala's just a puppet. There's just nothing between the ears.
Who is running the show?
There is nothing between her ears.
So if she's not running it, like Biden is asserting that she is.
There's a group of people. I don't think there's any one person. I think it's a group. It's a cabal. It's the swamp. I mean, let's face it. And that's one of the things, and that's the other thing I get really frustrated about. They're like, oh, if you like Trump and you're voting for Trump, then you just believe in everything he says, and you're a sycophant, and you're in a cult, and on and on and on. It's like, no, we talk about things that we don't like about him all the time. And you know what's really great is I can say I don't like that. He bombed such and so. I don't like that he didn't drain the swamp. I don't like that he didn't get the wall built.
I don't like that he went along with Fauci so readily.
No, I hate that he let Fauci in there, and Bolton and a few of the others. I hate that, and those were really stupid mistakes. And then, I appreciate what he tried to do during COVID, although no matter what he did, they would have said he did it wrong. And they went from, even Kamala herself said she would never take a vaccine that had anything to do with Trump. And then, if you don't take that exact vaccine, and I'm putting the word vaccine in big fat quote marks, and I don't care. We've already been kicked off of YouTube.
We've already established as mRNA.
Yeah. If you don't take that, well, then you're going to get kicked out of the military, lose your job, can't take a train or bus or whatever. It's like, wait a minute. Isn't this the same Trump vaccine that you wanted nothing to do with, and now all of a sudden you're going all dictatory about it?
It's because of the China virus.
Jim's been working on his Trump.
I've been working on my Trump. I'm almost there.
Hopefully we have another 4 years that you'll get to...
I got nothing.
That was great. I think one of my favorite exchanges of this 3-hour tour, and there was a lot of really good gems in there, but they talked honestly about nuclear. And I just pronounced it like a bush. Nuclear. And, anybody who listens to Scott Adams, and if you don't, please do, he's been looking at that a lot. And we have a third generation and a fourth on its way of nuclear power that really is green and really can save the planet and will take over, all the things that we could have as much energy as we need cheaply without harming the environment, like all the other, like coal and everything else does. But because they hear nuclear and they think Fukushima and they think all the other whoops and all the other meltdowns, they Ukraine, people are automatically against it without really listening to what it's about. So Trump touched very lightly on that, but what he did touch on is that there is, in fact, I think Mercedes, if I'm not totally crazy, they're able to make smaller plants. So we're not
Right.
doing these big giant,
We'd read
giant
about that
whole city
before.
plants. I mean, it might even get to the point where it's portable, like in Back to the Future. It's like
Right.
so many things from Back to the Future have come true, except for the flying cars. It's the only thing we haven't gotten yet.
That's because people let the car run out of juice. I know my car.
Yeah, clonk. Yeah.
Clonk.
We'd have to have instead of airbags, we'd have automatic parachute. Yeah, and there'd be so many of them floating down. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating, and I'm really glad they brought it up. And I also love the fact that Rogan used the exact term "fine people hoax." The fine people hoax and the drink bleach hoax, and I think Trump threw in there the bloodbath hoax.
Right.
Finally, we're using the correct term. These are hoaxes. They did not happen. And both Kamala and Biden are running on that hoax, the fine people hoax. He never complimented Nazis. He never said he wanted anything to do with Hitler. He never said that Nazis were very fine people. If you think he did, you have been hoaxed, my friend. And even Snopes has debunked that. But people
It
are
doesn't
still...
help that
Yeah.
people like General John Kelly are saying that
Which is nonsense.
said those
Absolute
things. It's just-
nonsense. And the suckers and losers hoax. He never said that. And he even said, well, I was standing next to a general. Why would I say something so stupid that would probably get me punched?
Exactly.
You know, so even if I thought that, which I don't, why would I say it then? Makes no
Isn't this
sense.
the same guy that was ridiculed for hosting an event that honored the people of the military? Remember that one
Yeah.
thing he did?
Yeah, and they're also trying to say that he said something awful about, I forget exactly who it was, but they had lost their son.
Right.
And they're like, oh, he said this and that was rude. And the actual family came out and said, no, he didn't.
Right.
That's completely made up. And how dare you use us for your political nonsense? But they're still running with it anyway. Anyways, I think one of my favorite was when they were talking about energy. They were talking about nuclear, and he was talking about windmills. And I think they mentioned about Elon's rockets and how he had to capture seals and put headphones on them to see if they were stressed out. Or it was this whole ridiculous thing that actually they were talking about all the hoops you have to jump through for the
Right.
ecology folks. And so he's like, the windmills that are way out in the sea is actually causing whales to die, which is true. It's no conspiracy theory. It's absolutely true. And he goes, maybe we need to get out there and I'd like to be a whale psychologist to find out what makes them go crazy. It's like, that was just such a golden moment. Whale psychologist. So they're going to clip that out of context and, oh, look how crazy he is. He wants to be a whale psychologist. But I thought it was funny. And they did. They had a great banter.
Yeah, they did. I like Joe Rogan because he would just as easily have Kamala on the show if
He did. Yeah.
And he's talked to people of all different political stripes, and he engages.
Yeah.
And it's a fun listen, whether he's interviewing a sports person or a celebrity. I'm not that much into sports, but if he's talking to like a wrestler or baseball player or whatever, it's still an interesting listen.
Yeah, and it was interesting the next day when they were talking about the interview and his take on it, and he thought it was funny that when he asked him a question like the JFK files or aliens or whatever, that all of a sudden Trump diverted to talking about the UFC, and he realized what was going on at the time, but he's like, all right, okay, I see what he's doing here.
Yeah.
But it was kind of masterful the way he did it when you pay attention to it. So
No, he's Trump is a good communicator.
yeah,
He comes across as lacking nuance. He's sometimes, he said some mean things. He did the gesture when he was talking about that journalist, not knowing the journalist had some neurological illness. He did that for he stopped after that, I think. I don't remember him doing it afterwards, but
I mean, I do that too. I'm like, it has nothing to do with, any physical limitations they might have. That's
right.
I mean, you have that voice that you do when you're talking about idiots. I think you used it for the,
Sisolak?
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
just basically the male version.
So
of
glad
Kamala.
he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Sheriff Joe or whatever his name is all that much better, but
I'm wondering if the FBI still have a gun to his
They
children's
do.
head.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
they do.
But we digress. Anyways,
bit.
it was very interesting. I didn't want to play clips on it because everybody else and his
And
dog.
besides, we've
is.
been doing that time and time again. We'll play it, but I mean, we take if we can take a 5-minute interview or speech or something and break it down, it takes half an hour. What would 3 hours do?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, our show's only 2 hours long
Yeah.
typically.
Well, plus I think you should listen to it. I really
Yeah,
do.
it's really, if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, you can either watch it or listen to it. You get the same
It was just
experience either
really,
way.
really nice to have somebody let him get a word in edgewise for a freaking change.
I know. He's
To not have somebody just
Columbia
yell over the top,
University
yeah.
journalists who interrupt and scream and
Yeah.
yell.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay, that was a heck of an introduction, so let's head on into...
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
And here we are.
Oh boy.
You should like that picture.
I do. I think that's a great cartoon of us. I do.
It is, well, it was very cartoon of us, yeah.
Yes.
You would say.
Well, this is from our friends up north.
Up north.
A town in Saskatchewan is facing one major hurdle in the run-up to its November municipal election.
Ruh-roh.
No one is running for mayor. Officials in Kyle said Mayor George Williams, who was elected in November 2021, is retiring this year, and so far, no candidates have come forward to seek the office.
Well, maybe they'll end up with a dog like that Alaskan town.
Maybe. Do a better job than most. An open spot on the town council also has no nominees. Chief Administrative Officer Amber Dashney said 2 rounds of applications have gone out seeking nominations for mayor, but so far no one has signed up. It's a little concerning, but I'm confident that someone will step forward, Dashney told
Is it
CKOM.
an unpaid job? Is that what's going on? That they're just not paying?
Don't know. Usually you get at least a stipend for being
Yeah.
mayor.
I mean, there's a lot of people that get into politics. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. She's a
Yeah.
gajillionaire because she got into politics. But
Dashney said the council will select a deputy mayor to handle the duties of the office if no candidates run for mayor in the November 13th election. At that meeting, we'll decide on a date for a by-election, and we will continue calling a by-election until we fill the mayor's spot and the other councilor's spot as well, Dashney said. I just thought of something.
what?
He's not in the room,
Okay.
but Max said he was going to run for president, and then
he let
found out,
that go. Yeah.
and then he just let it go. Maybe it was. I never asked him why he abandoned it. I guess because he wanted to be a journalist. You can't really do both.
Yeah.
So maybe though,
Although a lot of
running
journalists
for,
are so heavy into politics, they might as well be politicians.
but maybe he doesn't. I'll have to move to Saskatchewan. Though.
yeah, I don't think he'd
Or,
appreciate.
or do you really need to live there in order to be mayor? Apparently, they're hard up for one.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of places. I mean, look at Hillary Clinton being the whatever of New York, and she was nowhere near New York,
Senator.
and look at AOC. She doesn't live anywhere near what supposedly is her district, and
And Mitt Romney moved to another state.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's
maybe-
possible.
All right. Well, we'll bring it up with him offline. See what he says.
Crazy.
Speaking of far off places with crazy animals, yeah, this was caught on video. We actually have the video for this one.
Kind of gross.
Yeah, it's a little bit nasty, but that's what happens when you are. I didn't know they still had whales. I thought they.
Apparently, they're just they're letting the ones there now live their life and keep
can't let
them, and then
free. No willies off in the.
no.
Okay. Well, apparently what happened, they were attending an orca show at SeaWorld, and the orca just basically told him what he thought of him. So, I actually have the video of that because, we strive to give you quality entertainment here at Counterculture Wise.
And this-
There is no... oh, it's all weird now. There it goes.
But
There's
this is
no
the one
audio.
in San Antonio. There's a few of them.
Okay.
This is the
Oh
one.
yeah, he went all over the place, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then he comes in. The kid's like, "Ew, look what just
Splorp.
happened. Ew." And then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, you think that was bad? You ain't seen nothing yet."
Oh, yuck.
And that kid knows exactly what just happened to him.
Yep.
Ew.
Pretty gross. Pretty darn gross.
Nasty. That was gross. Okay, sorry, kiddos. That was a little bit.
That'll teach you to
I like
keep
how this.
orcas in captivity.
Yeah, that'll teach you. I like how this article is written though. The oceanic mammal then splashes the feces-filled water onto the crowd.
Eat the feces and
SeaWorld
eat the
employees
feces.
eliciting a mixture of shock, disgust, and amusement. They have
Amusement
yet
for
to-
those of you
They have
who
yet to
weren't
comment on the
splooshed.
incident. Animals poop. Get over it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty
What's
much
more
what
to
I would
say?
say. Hey, you know that
Yeah. You were in
They-
the splash zone, bud.
they don't get a bathroom break between
Yeah.
performances. You know, it's just how it is.
That's where they go. I mean, where else are they gonna go?
God.
All right, your turn.
All right, so Melanie and I love giraffes.
I
We went to Brew at the zoo last
love
weekend and had a
giraffes.
chance to
See
check
my
out
babies.
see your babies.
Our big boy, he has gone into another world, but
Yeah.
the two young ladies and the new baby are there.
Now this giraffe was born at a Tennessee zoo, but this is a very different beast. A baby giraffe was born without spots last month.
He's clean. He's
Very clean,
spotless.
spotless. According to Bright Zoo, where the giraffe was born, she's the only really guys. She's the only known
only solid
covered reticulated
No, that
giraffe.
makes sense. She's the only known, only solid-colored
okay,
reticulated
all right.
giraffe in the world. And our giraffes are reticulated, and I know that because they taught me that when I was there.
Yeah. I have a friend who was in a show with me who was a zookeeper for the giraffes, and she talked
Yeah?
to us. I think that she was the same girl who talked to us when we were.
You in a show with her?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I did not make that connection.
Giraffe Conservation Foundation, an NGO that concentrates on the conservation and care of giraffes in the wild, did not immediately respond to Today.com's request
Why
to
are we
confirm
even
the
reading that
statement.
paragraph? What a stupid paragraph.
I don't know.
We reached out and they said nothing. Okay, yay.
Bright Zoo, located in Washington County, Tennessee, is a USDA licensed private institution accredited by the Zoological Association
Isn't
of
the
America.
USDA also the same entity that rates our steaks?
The same exact one.
I really think we need to separate those duties. USD prime cut. Wait,
prime
what?
cut giraffe.
Reticulated. What?
The zoo says the solid brown giraffe, born on July 31st, already stands 6 feet tall. They grow
I wouldn't
quick.
call it brown. I would call it fawn. 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's twice.
She
that
called
now.
them to correct them, and they had no comment. Giraffe.
Of course not.
I'm playing. Giraffe experts believe she's the only solid-colored reticulated giraffe living anywhere on the planet, a press release shared with Today. The zoo is currently seeking help from the public in finding a name for the baby giraffe. Brownie, there, thanks. Cast your vote on the
Boo.
zoo's Facebook page.
I say Bambi
Ooh,
because she's fawn colored.
there you go. So far, the zoo says it has narrowed down a list of suggestions to the names Kipiki, the Swahili word for unique, for
Oh,
Yali,
I like
which
that.
means unusual or ordinary, Shakiri, which means she is most beautiful, and Jamela, one of great beauty.
I stick with Bambi.
Yeah, I like Brownie.
You would like brownie. Probably thinking about brownies right now. Speaking of brownies, I blew up the microwave. I've got to be the only person on the planet who can destroy a microwave trying to melt chocolate.
I don't
So,
know.
pro tip, do not stick chocolate chips in a, what are those little things called? The little crud. I can always remember what they're
Ramekin?
called. Ramekin, thank you. I have to sing the song or I cannot remember.
Ramekin, Ubbagin.
No, I'm a
Ubbagin.
ramekin man.
Oh, that one.
Ramekin man. Anyways, do not stick chocolate chips in a ramekin to melt them and then forget that you did so
Just
and let it
put
go.
them
It
in
was
a
only 3
pan.
minutes. It was only three
Put
lousy
them in a
stinking
pan
minutes.
and heat them over low heat
But
for a
then you
while.
gotta clean the pan.
Well, now we have to clean the microwave.
No, now we have to get rid of the microwave because I somehow managed to melt the top off of the microwave. knew
It
that was
wasn't
a
easy.
thing?
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's not
So
safe
we're gonna
anymore.
I'm gonna be, one of my projects this week is to go to Target, Walmart, all the rest online and price microwaves.
Okay.
So find one that fits our amazing lifestyle, like any of
And then
them.
get a 2x4 to prop it up on one side since our.
We have the most lopsided kitchen
I
in the
have
history
never
of houses.
seen a kitchen that's so lopsided. It's the craziest thing.
When Jesus talks about the builder built his house on the sand, I think this was their template.
I
don't know.
Seriously, because this house, I cannot figure it out. There are places in this house that are seriously, you can. I mean, it has vaulted ceilings, which is cool, but it means every time you hang a picture, you have to use a level because nothing is gonna you can't line it up with the wall or the ceiling because everything's at a slant. Okay, that I get. Okay, so like right now I'm looking at my backsplash board that I use with my students, and then I have a mat behind me as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like it is completely off kilter. But we used a level, and it is level with the earth. I just don't think that the house is level with the earth. I think the house is
This house is many things. Level is not one of them.
level is not one of them. No. So what I had to do for this microwave is the little screw-on feet that go on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I had to take all 3 of the other ones off so that I could build up the 4th one high enough to make it so that it didn't rock back and forth whenever you used it, because
crazy.
that's how far off
Yeah.
that.
It was a
yeah.
ridiculous, an angle I've never seen in a kitchen
Me either.
before.
It's insane. And of course, we're going to have to do that again with the new microwave that we're about to get. So, you know what? Head on over to counterculturewise.com. Don't leave this podcast. Open a new tab and support us. Buy our crap, send us some dough.
Formerly the beer fund, now the microwave
now it's
fund.
the microwave save the Kia. Just help us.
Help us, for God's sake, fund.
Get us some psychiatric attention, I'm thinking. Head on over. Do all the things. All right. Oh, crap. You read the giraffe one, so I have to read this one. And
and it's the second poop-related one you've had to read.
In a row. Yeah. I'm going to go on strike if you keep giving me the crap ones. And this one, I literally starts with the word literal and crap. It's a literal crap shoot. And, of course, it's here in Texas. A Texas startup named Throne is making waves in scatological circles after devising a camera that attaches to your toilet and photographs your, yes, you guessed it, poop. Why are we here? We're above this at Counterculture Wise. Why are we talking so much about defecation in this particular podcast? I give you 1 week to arrange the stories, and this is what I get. This is what happens when you let a man-child put the stories together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very sorry. I apologize.
I don't even remember adding this one.
I
added the one about the orca poop, not this one.
You mean I added the orca poop, but not this one?
I admit I added.
Throne uses a downward-facing camera, I certainly hope so, that securely captures video during each bathroom visit. The Austin-based tech firm writes, while describing the crappy camera, simply dubbed Throne on their site. They're not filming bowel movements for S's and giggles. Cute, whoever wrote this. Pithy. This seemingly voyeuristic tech is used to lift the lid on the user's gut health. Boy, they're having a lot of fun with the puns. They're doing a better job than we are. The downward-facing device simply clips onto the toilet rim and snaps videos of your stool. Afterward, doctor-trained artificial intelligence analyzes the stool and provides insight into the user's daily digestive and hydration status. Well, I can give you that. After an hour of sitting there reading the comics and doing puzzles. It's like, okay, well, today I didn't have enough fiber.
I ain't going nowhere with that.
I'm glad it's AI and not like an actual human being that has to do that. I can tell you that I've had to do that with pets when Oh, we're at a veterinary clinic, so it's nice to know that the human part has been lifted from that. Oh, look at you. You get to read
I get
something
the cultural.
that has nothing
I
to
got
do with
culture. I got culture. An exceptionally well-preserved Roman toilet. No, I'm kidding. An exceptionally well-preserved Roman marble
Well
statue.
played. Well played.
Thank you. Has been discovered in Varna, the Bulgarian Black Sea city's regional history museum said. Initial estimates are that the statue dates from the 2nd or 3rd century of the Christian era. The find was made during construction work outside the fortress walls of the ancient city known in antiquity as Odessos. The museum said that it had been notified by the construction contractor, Georgy Kreishev.
I'm sure
This-
glad you're reading those names and not me.
Yeah.
I can read poo.
I can read Georgy Kreishev. The sculpture is slightly larger than life-size, made of fine white marble, and is very well preserved. Only the right wrist is missing, and there is minor damage to the face. It's actually quite amazing.
Well, it's not the right
in very
wrist,
good
it's
shape.
the entire hand.
Well, yeah, if the wrist is missing, then the hand's also
But they
going to
didn't
miss.
say that. It said only the right wrist.
Did,
and I'm
did
like,
you
okay, well,
expect the hand
the hand
finger,
to be hovering
the
in
fingers to be floating in space?
I literally did. Well, I mean, it's marble. It
Unbelievable.
could have been attached.
Unbelievable. The sculptures of a middle-aged man with a short beard dressed in Roman toga, holding a scroll. There is a well-preserved inscription on the plinth in Greek, and the preliminary reading reveals the name of the person depicted, Gaius Marius Hermogenes. The toga in which this prominent citizen of Odessos is clothed betrays his close ties with Roman authority, the museum said on October 15th.
So they had fancy bed sheets that denoted your authority.
Yep.
Okay.
The statue is currently in the
Was it a thread count thing? I mean, how did you know one bed sheet from the other?
I don't know. It's a statue. I don't know what the thread count was
the toga
in ancient
and was
Greece.
a prominent citizen. It's the
statue is-
bed sheet.
I don't think they used bed sheets for togas back then. This isn't Animal House.
Maybe they used togas for bed sheets. Huh? Did you ever think of that?
I had no reason to think about that. I had no.
And
no
at 3
impulse,
o'clock in the
no
morning, Jim's going to be in the corner sucking his thumb going, togas for bed sheets, togas for bed sheets.
Quite possibly. If it's not, I can't sleep. The clowns will eat me. I don't know.
Yes, well, that's me.
The statue is currently in the Archaeological Museum in Varna, awaiting careful cleaning by the restoration team. That's
I
one
was
thing I like to
wondering
do
how
when
it
I go to.
went
From now on, when we go visit new places, I always want to visit any museums that they
Oh,
have.
me too.
Then again, we haven't been to any of the
Oh, these
museums
pictures
here
are
in
fantastic.
the Waco area. Yeah.
So they just lifted it off. Okay, so I'm confused because here it's like they said it was white marble, but now it's beige, and it was just like sitting on a rock in the middle of no dang where, and they're like, okay, now we're gonna bring him because he's not white marble anymore.
Well, it's also lighting. So there's sometimes depending on the if you're how you
And is he
photograph
flat
something.
on the back side? Because
Yeah.
it looks like he is.
Yeah, go to the bottom picture.
Yeah,
He is lying down.
yeah. It looks like he's flat on the back side. Still, that's an incredible find.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, especially in that great of shape.
Yep.
That
Alrighty.
now a little bit of history. A little bit.
This is gonna be fun. You'll like this one.
All right. Hopefully she's not gonna poo.
I think
No
we're
more
done with
poo, please.
defecation for the evening.
Please.
I mean, stories about
For all that's
defecation.
holy, no more poo. All right. For most Americans, Rosie the Riveter, the arm-flexing female factory worker in a World War II wartime poster, is a symbol. I'm pretty sure she didn't say it that way. It's more like, we can do it. Is a symbol of American strength and resiliency during one of history's darkest periods. But for Jennifer McMullen, a Los Angeles resident who this week turned 100 years old, the feminist icon is more than a historical artifact. It's an emblem of her life story. McMullen was a factory worker during World War II at Lockheed Aircraft, predecessor to defense and aviation giant Lockheed Martin in Burbank, California. That made her one of the roughly 5 million women recruited by U.S. defense manufacturers to fill factory jobs amid a shortage of workers while men were going to war. It was kind of awesome that, we were able to get together and do what needed to be done. The Rosies, as the women serving on the production lines were called, played a pivotal role in building tanks, ships, planes, and other material essential to the war effort. Why is the word effort underlined? Is that a link going
It's
somewhere?
a link. It's a link.
Defense.gov.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to click it. I'm just curious. Of all the words, they could have underlined war effort.
I think they should have underlined both the word war and
Yeah,
effort.
because it's like, where is that going to go? It's like, the dictionary definition of the word effort, but no, it goes to defense.gov. Their impact on American society was perhaps even larger, advancing cultural acceptance of women in the workforce. And now we don't get paid vacation or natal care, and everybody has to have dual incomes, and now babies are raised by the government. Oy. At a time that females holding a job was associated with
Some
being
of that
poor,
wasn't in the
according
actual
to
article.
National Archives. Well, then you can see this. Okay. Oh, I guess some people are just listening and can't see it. I'm just saying. Among family and friends at her birthday celebration on October 20th at the Oakmont of Whittier Assisted Living Facility in Whittier, California, where she resides. Wow, that was superfluous.
You could have just said
yeah, that
celebration where she lives.
That was like a Kamala thing.
Yeah.
These words in which I'm
Unburdened
speaking,
by what has been.
Yeah, with the words that I am speaking that are words, and when we think
I'm
about
talking.
the words,
I'm talking.
I'm talking.
Hello,
I'm talking. I'm talking. And I'm going to talk like I'm asking a
And I'm not
question.
going to say anything.
Everything
at all.
I say is going to sound like I'm asking a question. Anyway.
Okay, so I'm not going to read that again because how many times can I say Whittier? Where she resides, by the way. McMullen shared her thoughts with, we don't care. It feels wonderful. It feels really good. I'm happy that we're here. So there's the iconic Rosie the Riveter. Seated next to McMullen was her husband of nearly, oh my gosh, 80 years. Can you imagine being married to somebody for 80 years?
Barely imagine being married to someone for 80 months. And
I can't even imagine being alive for 80 years. That's insane.
Here we are.
They got married when they were 20. They're just babies. Oh my gosh, that's insane. And he's alive too.
And he's also a World War II veteran.
Veteran who himself is just a few months away from turning 100. Ooh, she's a little cradle robber. Look at her. The couple shared 3 sons and 4 grandchildren. I hope. We traveled all over the world during those years together. We've been married about 79 years, she said, so it feels good. Good to have a companion. Well, yeah, who's still alive? You go, girl. Also in attendance was McMullen's granddaughter, who read from a letter. Granddaughter who's like 60? I mean, come on. who read a letter sent by the American Rosie the Riveter Association. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ARRA, American Rosie the Riveter Association, in honor of her grandmother's milestone. You were a Rosie Riveter, one of the many hardworking and patriotic women who came forward during World War II to help ensure Allied victory, the letter said. She had to wait 100 years to get that. As for what's next, the sprightly centurion in tune, we can do it, fashion said. Looking forward to my 150. And you know what? If Elon Musk has anything to say about it, my sweet woman.
She actually looks pretty darn good for 100.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not playing the video, but she does look young.
She does. I
Young-
love that
younger
they
than
gave her a
100.
tiara. That just makes my day because my birthday's next week and I always wear a tiara on my birthday.
Do you have a tiara or do I need to get you another one?
I have 2, but I might get a 3rd.
Because,
I like this pink one.
Get one while Spirit Halloween is still open.
Oh, there you go. No. I like, well, they might have good ones. I usually get mine at Claire's because, like, they're more
'Cause,
dainty.
Claire's
I don't want plastic.
Yeah.
I want metal and rhinestones if I can't have real diamonds.
Rhinestone cowgirl.
Go all the way. Not a cowboy.
All right.
Well, that was News of the Weird and Wonderful, and now.
Not all of it.
Oh, no. Oh, you got another one?
Well, you did mention that Trump went to the McDonald's. And
Well,
we
that
said
is. Oh, did I put that somewhere? Where did I put that?
right under where it says.
Riveting story. Oh, I did. I skipped it, didn't I? Oh,
Wonderful
okay.
Weird.
So, some of you may know that Trump indeed did work at McDonald's this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15 minutes longer than.
15 minutes longer. Actually, he was there for a lot longer than 15
Yeah, he
minutes.
was a lot
but
longer.
they asked him at 15 minutes. It was hilarious. And broke the internet. I mean,
Absolutely.
just broke the internet. It's so hilarious. I just wanted to show this really quick. This was the crowd that had gathered to see him. Now, remember,
Trump can't even draw any crowds. He's tired. People are leaving his rallies because they're not interested in seeing what he has to say.
Honey, I'm thinking that just may not be true. So, yeah. Those are the crowds that were gathering outside this McDonald's.
That's actually pretty impressive. And so he worked the fry machine
He
for
did.
a while.
He
and then
did.
He started handing out. Now, can you imagine driving up to a McDonald's and having the president, okay, technically former president, but having President
Stephen
Trump
Crowder says, you like to call him former
cheeseburger?
president. I like to call him. No, I think everybody was just getting free fries. I mean, yes, okay, it was a staged event. And that's what's so funny is the lefts are like,
Oh, it was staged. It was staged.
Well, of course it was.
duh.
Chuck says more about that in a few
Actually, he
minutes.
does. He does.
Yeah.
Well, let's play this and then we'll play Chuck. But,
Yeah,
I mean, duh. Dude's been shot at like twice now. Of course, they're going to vet the people coming up. But what was really funny is the people who are coming up in their cars. I mean, we're just, my favorite was the woman who said that she came from a country that was socialist and please don't let them be like my country. I think it was Brazil. Please don't let them be like us, Mr. President. And he spent the last 2 weeks just being like, I'm a dude. I'm human. Hello. Not the little mustachioed guy. I'm just an everyday guy. So here is Trump at McDonald's. And video that we're going to obviously get DMCA'd out of oblivion for. But
I'm going for a job right now at McDonald's. I really wanted to do this all my life.
I wanted to do this all my life.
Because she didn't do it.
And look, I mean, she looks just absolutely terrified of the evil. I mean, so does this Fry guy. And this Fry guy was a great little trainer. He was so good at what he did. I mean, he gave him every, step by step, and he was super patient, and Trump asked questions along the way, and just really sweet. And then Trump, of course, said, hey, he was a good trainer. He taught me everything I needed to know, which, what is this, like an 18-year-old kid? Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously terrified of Hitler, I can tell just by the way they interacted. Yeah. So really cute exchange here.
It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's.
Now, in her defense, McDonald's said that they could not find any record of her having done so, which isn't technically saying she didn't.
Right, and it's the franchisee who's paying you, not McDonald's Corporation.
Well, I mean, okay, but I can go back to 1989, when I was a high schooler, and I worked for 3 months at a off-name fast food restaurant in Kent, Washington.
Right.
And the Social Security Administration can tell you exactly the dates I worked there and how much I made.
Same with me working at Dairy Queen in Washington State.
Yeah.
The Twin Lakes Dairy Queen, which I think is still there.
It's a Dairy Queen, probably.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, I can go all the way back to not my very first job babysitting, but my very first real job where I got a
paycheck,
a W-2, and
yeah.
It's easy to prove.
Right.
So,
I don't know.
nah.
In other words, she's lying Kamala.
Lying Kamala. Didn't work with Lying Ted. Look at him go with his fries.
Never even touch it, huh?
Exactly.
I always wonder, wow, that's pretty good to go like that.
We will give them salt packets.
What's this?
A little
No,
bit of
I want
salt.
fries.
Yeah, McDonald's fries are nasty.
How are you? Nice
They
to see you.
are if they've been sitting around.
Thank you very
No, they're just nasty, period. I never liked McDonald's fries.
I always like them.
much. How are you?
When they're fresh out of the fryer, they're
So
delish.
this is compliments of me,
Nah,
okay?
they do nothing. I like
How long
Wendy's
have you had
fries.
Yeah.
My favorite are Five Guys, but we've been priced out of them. So there you go. President Donald Trump working at McDonald's. He did it. I thought that was brilliant. I mean, what a great... I mean, come on. That was awesome. That was awesome.
It was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. So I'm glad he did that. Well, let's see what Chuck has to say
About that and many other things.
about that. And oh boy, I do apologize in advance for what you are about to witness. This was not 100% my fault, but here you go.
And now CCW News presents Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! 2 weeks till Civil War Edition, October 2024. I'm Chuck U. Farley. The big news this week is the lack of relief we're getting from Kamala Harris's complete disaster of a campaign, which sadly distracts from desperate American citizens in a post-apocalyptic hurricane zone in need of actual disaster relief. While the Harris-Biden cabal extorts $8 billion of your tax dollars to launder through Ukraine and $385 million to rebuild Lebanon, while also funding Israel's munitions so they can bomb Lebanon to bits, Harris told those hurricane survivors who lost everything that they could log onto the non-existent internet using their destroyed computers without any electricity to apply to get $750 of their tax dollars back as a loan. While Tennessee deployed its National Guard to Kuwait instead of guarding its own nation in its time of need, FEMA withheld aid from those stranded further out, and the government threatened to arrest private citizens offering aid to them, the Vice Cackler was on the porn podcast She's Your Daddy discussing abortion. And just to drive the point home, the porn industry published their endorsement of Heels Up Harris because, as they've often said, decency is on the ballot. I swear, I'm not making this up. But never fear! FEMA has made it clear that its number one focus is equity. Its number 2 goal is facing climate resilience. And its number 3 goal, which is literally its sole purpose, so it only makes sense that it's the last on the list, is preparedness. What did this DEI-centric approach result in? FEMA sent pallets of chainsaws to the most remote areas with no food, shelter, running water, or electricity. Electric chainsaws. No, I'm not making this up either. President Trump trolled his opponent and broke the internet by serving fries at a Pennsylvania McDonald's this weekend. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala at McDonald's, he quipped, as the giant line of excited customers snaked its way to the drive-thru just to get a glimpse of him. Harbingers of the obvious, unless it happens to be real news, mainstream media was quick to point out that it was staged, and everyone involved was vetted beforehand, as if that made no sense, given how many times he's been fired upon. Golden Arch's shenanigans aside, now that RFK Jr. is part of the Trump team, he has declared that he wants to focus on making America healthy again. Meanwhile, Kamala is celebrating her endorsement from Lizzo. Lord, I swear I am not making this up. Lizzo flew in on her private jet to the U.S.'s second most violent city, which she said made her, though she fled the nanosecond she made the money to do so and claimed, quote, "If Kamala is elected, the whole country will look like Detroit." Donald Trump approved of that message. For CCW News, this has been Holy Crap, This Is Actually Happening! I'm Chuck U. Farley. Good night, and may God help us.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things. I think that's a good lead into this particular segment. What do you think?
I think that's an amazing lead-in.
All right. I'm checking. No poop. All right,
no
off
poop
you
on
go.
This one either. All right, well, good.
Poop free here at Counterculture Wise. We don't ask for much.
Feces free, no crap. Yeah, this is out of Poland.
Poland.
A funeral home in Poland issued an unusual apology on Saturday after a corpse that it was transporting fell out of a hearse and into traffic.
No, into traffic? Oh, no.
Polish media reported that a man was driving down a street Friday in Stalowa Wola, a city in southeastern Poland, when he first saw a sheet on his car window.
This is straight out of a sitcom.
When the sheet slid down, he saw a body lying on the road. For a moment, the driver feared that he had hit the person.
Did you just Freudian slip and rather than say a body, you said a Biden? I swear you did. We'll have to go back and re-listen to that. I swear you said a Biden.
He saw a body lying in the road. I swear I'm not making this up. For a moment, The driver feared that he had hit the person. Local
my
media
goodness.
published an image of the corpse lying on a white-striped pedestrian crossing where it tumbled out of the hearse.
Notice that this media did not.
The company transporting the corpse, Hades Funeral Services.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's Polish, might be pronounced Hades,
that cannot be their name.
but that's their name.
No,
At least
it's
It
got to
should-
mean something different in Poland.
it's probably Hades. That's probably just how it's pronounced. But it's spelled Hades, and so I just felt that was, they issued a statement Saturday taking responsibility for the incident and blaming a technical failure of the hearse. It is with deep regret that we inform you that as a result of the unexpected technical failure of the electric tailgate lock in the hearse during the transport of the body of the
Is that
deceased.
your Polish accent?
I have no idea
That's what
a
you
Polish,
got?
I don't know what Polish sounds like. An unfortunate event occurred which does not reflect the high standards of our company.
either, and I'm laughing
our
at
deep
you.
empathy towards the families of the deceased.
I'm laughing at you because I have no idea what it sounds like, but I'm pretty sure that's not it.
And the respect we always show to the deceased, blah, blah. The company wrote in a statement posted on its website. It apologized to all those who were disappointed and upset by this event. I would hope so.
Disappointed? You
Yeah.
mean you didn't run it over? You didn't get that satisfying bump? Speaking of which, we still don't know what you hit the other day.
Oh, yeah, I ran over something on the drive home
He's
in the
like,
dark.
I think it was metallic. I'm like, you can tell me what it was made out of based on the sound it made when you ran over it?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
sounded-
think that's a thing, Monis.
Well, it was a thing.
Bump. I'm
Anyway,
surprised
just
the wheels stayed on.
Yeah, I'm glad the wheels stayed on. The new tires didn't get damaged.
Yeah, the freaking $300 tires.
Oh, it wasn't so bad.
It's unbelievably expensive. These were supposed to be used tires. They
I
sent
think
us to
I think they inadvertently gave us new ones, though.
No, I think they advertently did it.
Oh well,
It was
whatever.
very advertent. I feel violated. It was so
Language barrier.
It was so verdant.
Language barrier blues, but still,
Yeah.
we saved money over
Yeah.
going somewhere else.
Yeah, language barrier blues. Oh, no se habla. Give him the new ones. He's a dumb honky. He didn't know.
But, hey, the term is cracker. Thank you.
No. No,
All right.
what are they? Gringo. You're a gringo. Okay, this one is wrong on so many levels. But the fact that there's a sign is kind of terrifying. Hug it out, but make it quick. New Zealand Airport, of course it's New Zealand, sets a time limit on goodbyes. Now I'm wondering, does it start the minute you start hugging? Do you get to talk first, or is it like the minute? I mean,
I
when
don't know.
when
It
does
might
the
be
clock start?
It might be in the article.
Let's find out.
Yeah.
Wellington, New Zealand. Emotional farewells are a common sight at airports, but travelers leaving the New Zealand city of Dunedin will have to be quick. A new 3-minute time limit on goodbye hugs in the airport's drop-off area is intended to prevent lingering cuddles from causing traffic jams. Max hug time 3 minutes warn signs outside the terminal, adding that those seeking, quote, fonder farewells, end quote, should head to the airport's parking lot. Yeah, just log into OnlyFans. Whatever. Fonder farewells. The cuddle cap was imposed in September to keep things moving smoothly in the redesigned passenger drop-off area outside the airport, the CEO told the Associated Press. It was the airport's way of reminding people that the zone was for quick farewells only. Get out! The sign had polarized social media users. We were accused of breaching basic human rights, and how dare we limit how long someone can have a hug for, he said, adding that others had welcomed the change. Unfortunately, every single one of them was named Karen. The signs were meant as an alternative to those at other airports, warning of wheel clamping or fines for drivers parked in drop-off. Okay, now parking, getting out of the vehicle, walking away from the vehicle, that's different. But hugging someone? Some in Britain have imposed fees for all drop-offs, however brief. Seriously? Dunedin's airport, a modest terminal serving a city of 135,000 people in New Zealand's South Island, preferred a quirky approach to Bono said. Our dog is trying everything she has to get our attention.
I know. She doesn't realize she has it, but
She's out there just squeaking her little heart out because we closed the door. How dare us?
she has one of her squeaky toys. And just
She has
going
more than
overboard
one.
on
She's
the
like a
thing.
seal out there squeaking everything she can and chasing the cats. And she's really wrong side of the door, apparently. 3 minutes was plenty of time to pull up, say farewell to your loved one, and move on, he said. The time limit is really a nicer way of saying, get on with it. Get a room. Do you think that they're going to have, like, in high school we had a smoking square?
I remember that. I
Do you
had
think,
one.
yeah, do you think they're going to have, like, a hugging square where you're allowed to do that?
I don't know.
A 20-second hug is long enough to release the well-being boosting hormones for crying in the mud. Oxytocin and serotonin. Anything longer was really awkward. You know what's really awkward is when you're like, bye, sweetie. I hope you come back from Iraq. I love you. 1 hippopotamus, 2 hippopotamus, 3 hippopotamus, 4 hippopotamus. That's awkward. But passengers need not worry unduly about enforcement. We do not have hug police. Not yet.
They will.
Yes. Visitors might, however, be asked to move their lingering embraces. Move your... I'm going to use that from now on. When I'm at a traffic light and, like, it turns green and the dude doesn't move, I'll be like, move your lingering embrace! That's what I'm going to do from now on. God bless you. God bless you. Now move your lingering embrace. Where they can cuddle free of charge for up to 15 minutes. Free of charge, 15-minute cuddles.
The hug police, they're going to be in your bed.
Yeah,
The
at
hug police, they're
15
going to
point-
smack up your head.
15 minutes and 4 seconds. Now it's $10.99 a minute.
Our next story is an honorary Florida man.
Oh, dear.
We have some Florida man stories to share, but probably not tonight. We're probably going to do it
This
next
one's
week.
a doozy.
But this one, I'm just going to say on the outset, you are not guaranteed privacy when you have Geek Squad move your files, and it's really not a difficult thing to do anyway.
No.
Even I can do it. I proved it by erasing a novel. Anyway,
Well, yeah, that's true. I spent a lot of time trying to find that novel.
I did too. And
Unfortunately,
I've given
what he had on his hard drive was not so novel.
up. A
How's that for
Kentucky man,
transition?
as opposed to Kentucky woman, was arrested after police said
Notice
Best
he has a ponytail, ladies and gentlemen. He has a ponytail.
Yeah, so totally 80s.
He has a widow's peak, like, all the way back behind his ears, and a ponytail.
Yeah, very, very 1980s chic look. 40 years ago, people.
He looks surprised that he's there, too.
A Kentucky man was arrested after police said Best Buy employees allegedly discovered child porn.
So it
on his
literally was
computer.
Best Buy. It literally was the
Yeah,
Geek Squad.
that's why I said Geek Squad.
I thought you were making a joke. It literally
no,
was.
it's
Oh my gosh.
literally Best Buy employees.
Oh my gosh,
allegedly
what a moron.
discovered child porn on his computer while trying to help him transfer files.
No.
Jack Hancock, 78 years old, took his computer to a Best Buy in Louisville on August 28th to have its files moved onto an external hard drive. During the exchange, employees saw what they believed to be files containing child pornography, according to arrest records obtained by the Lexington Herald-Ledger,
Oh, I would hate to be that employee that's
as
just
opposed
like,
to Lexington Heath
oh,
Ledger.
what's this? It says Bobby 12. Oh, no, shut down the, oh dear, oh my.
The St. Matthews Police Department obtained a search warrant for Hancock's home, and on the morning of October 14th, investigators reportedly found hundreds of images of children engaging in sex acts with adults.
No.
Authorities allege that Hancock had been in the process of downloading more child porn when the search warrant was executed. According to, you just can't get enough. It's like potato chips.
Why?
According to a citation obtained by WDRB.
Ew.
The 78-year-old allegedly admitted to knowingly having more than 300 files.
You know what's terrifying is that there's 300 files to be had.
There's big money in it, you know.
No, why?
I don't know. People are evil. According to court records obtained by Herald Leader, Hancock was arrested and faced 20 counts of possessing matter portraying sexual performance by a minor under 12 years old.
Under 12, you
Ew.
sick pervert.
Ew. His bond was set to $10,000 and he is due back in court on Wednesday.
That is the face of
Ugh,
pure
Schwein.
evil.
Schwein.
My,
Ugh.
oh, Christ, I lift up each and every one of those children. May they be freed from this evil.
Yeah,
Ugh.
everybody involved in that should, if he has any information, he needs to come
I mean,
clean.
there's rot in hell, and then there's just rot in hell, you know?
Yeah.
This is a fun one.
Yeah. See, I mean, this is isn't weed supposed, or THC supposed to make you crave pizza?
You would
It's
think
like- you'd
so.
think it'd
It's
be
like a
cycle,
double.
right?
Yeah. I
It
think this
just-
is just entrepreneurship. So, famous pizza place in Wisconsin issues an apology after serving pizza contaminated with THC. Why? Why is there THC in my pizza? I really want to know. Is that a thing now? A Wisconsin-based pizza restaurant has issued an apology after it was discovered that some of its pizza served to customers was contaminated with THC. Seriously, though, why are we putting, I mean, and are we talking like edible? I'm just really... Do we sprinkle it on like oregano? I mean, how is this done? Officials of Public Health Madison and Dane County stated that the release that famous Yeti's Pizza...
I love that name, Famous Yeti.
Yetis, yeah. Well, I mean, as opposed to all the unfamous Yetis out there, had an unintentional THC contamination. Oh, I had an unintentional THC contamination in the dough of some of its pizzas. In the dough. It's in the dough.
Zoink Scoob!
Some of its pizzas. And then they list the specific day. Reggie. Health officials are warning anyone who may have purchased pizza during that time frame. I'm pretty sure they know by now.
Yeah.
From famous Yetis and to throw it away. No, man, what's the street value of these babies? Around 5:30 p.m. on October 24th, Famous Yeti's Pizza addressed the incident on its Facebook page with an explanation and an apology. The full statement can be read below. I think Shaggy should read this.
Yeti's community is with deep regret that we inform you of a potential contamination. I can't do this.
You were doing so good.
I was. Involving pizzas sold between like Tuesday, October 22nd and Thursday, October 24th. After receiving reports from staff, Yeti's owner and employees of unexplained physical reactions, ook, we underwent an investigation with the Stoughton police and the local health officials.
I think that the unexplained physical reactions went something like this. When the moon was in the seventh house. Yeah. Unexplained.
In a garden David,
Okay. Today it was confirmed the pizza had been sold with dough mistakenly prepared with Delta 9 contaminated oil.
Where did they get the Delta 9?
The oil accidentally used in the product originated from a shared storage space in the on-site cooperative commercial kitchen.
What?
No, it looks like they share the kitchen with some other businesses. And
Do you know how much a bottle of that oil would cost, though? It's not like let's just sprinkle some oil.
It ain't exactly Wesson, you know?
Right.
Just, wow. The oil accidentally used in the product originated from...
Accidental, my fuzzy white behind. Come on. Is anybody buying this?
Kind of fuzzy, but mostly smooth. We want to assure you that all affected products have been destroyed. Oh, man! Ruh-roh. Famous Yetis is working closely with local authorities to improve our storage and security protocols to prevent this from happening again and to guarantee the safety of our customers. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience or harm caused.
Hey, man, if
If
you
you
were
were
infected
infected
or have any
questions, please reach out to Kale
Yeah.
at famousyetis@gmail.com, man.
The release also notes that Famous Yeti's Pizza operates in a building with a shared industrial kitchen where many businesses make food and
Other products.
other products. Really? That's a thing? Where you share a kitchen with other... I've never heard of such a thing.
I I don't know. I guess
Literally never heard of such a thing. How did they pass inspections?
It may just be a Wisconsin thing. I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know.
Public health sanitarians are currently investigating the building with help from the Stoughton Police Department and the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. The owner of Famous Yeti's Pizza is cooperating with the investigation. The public health officials are also asking anyone who ate the pizza and has experienced THC-related symptoms to contact their healthcare provider.
Blue skies
But
smiling at me.
Don't list the THC related
symptoms.
The sad thing is one of the THC related symptoms is that you get the munchies so that you eat more pizza.
That's what I would have thought.
And then you eat more pizza, and then you get the munchies so you eat more pizza.
It's a conspiracy.
And then what they find are these poor people are really, really happy, and they've eaten the pizza. Every last morsel of the pizza, the box the pizza came in.
The greasy paper underneath the pizza.
They're eyeballing the cat.
Just roll it up and smoke it.
Unbelievable. I'm seriously, though, I am not buying that was, I'm just
not buying the accidental
I'm
bit.
not buying the accidental bit. I'm just not. I mean, call me a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I'm just not buying that it was accidental.
The Washington Post.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, not yet?
Hold on now.
Oh.
I work very hard on these things. Yeah, you're rushing.
rushed.
Yeah, I work
Sorry, I rushed.
very hard on these
Me
things.
rush, me not good.
Of course, not hard enough to actually find the bloody thing in time here, but the thing and the stuff. So here we go.
This is not Bubble Waters. It is no longer 2020. But this is your new abnormal.
If you can't raise corporate taxes, or if GOP takes control of the Senate, where do you get the money to do that? Do you still go forward with those plans and borrow?
Well, but we're going to have to raise corporate taxes, and we're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share. That's just it. It's about paying their fair share. I am not mad at anyone for achieving success, but everyone should pay their fair share, and it is not right that the teachers and the firefighters that I meet every day across our country are paying a higher tax than the richest people in our country.
President, there wasn't a single thing that I did that she couldn't do. And so I was able to delegate her responsibility on everything from foreign policy to domestic policy.
She simply has said it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. We can't afford 4 more years of this, and I've been saying it.
You
think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
All right, so as I was saying,
Best line ever.
oh God, the Washington Post decided to go back to its old policy of not endorsing a candidate for the election.
Ruh-roh.
And the entire world is melting down over this. One day after the Washington Post announced it would not endorse a presidential candidate in this year's election or in the future, its billionaire owner remained silent as the newspaper's staff were in turmoil. Turmoil, I tell you.
Oh.
Jeff Bezos has so far declined to comment on the situation.
You can't bang your desk when it's...
When it's that flimsy, I know. Empty water bottle flew off. Jeff Bezos has so far declined to comment on the situation, even as his own paper's journalist reported it was Bezos himself who ultimately spiked the planned endorsement. A source with knowledge told CNN on Friday that the endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris, who else? It's a left-wing newspaper, had been drafted before it was squashed in the last 20...
The minute a news organization of any sort, be it a paper or a channel, endorses a particular candidate, they cease to be news. They are no longer news. They are now opinion.
Well,
they are partisan opinion. So anytime I see any news organization, a paper, a magazine, or God forbid an entire channel come out and endorse a particular candidate, you are no longer news in my eyes.
Okay, can I ask you something, though?
Sure. You just did.
Well, let me ask you something else in addition. It's been a tradition for newspapers to do this, and sometimes you have, like, there's entire editorial sections where people write opinions on political events and that kind of thing. Are you saying that should also be removed, or just endorsements of political candidates?
The tradition was you would have an opinion piece where side by side, you'd have one person say, this is why I think this candidate should blah, blah, blah. And the other side is, this is why I think the opposing candidate should blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
That's the way it was done.
Okay.
And it was on the opinions page.
Right.
And the paper itself did not say, oh, you should vote for this person.
Oh, right. That's true. They do say that this is the opinion. Just like our little disclaimer at the beginning of our show. Okay, I get it. In the past 24 hours, at least one whiny little editor has resigned. I'm sorry, I've added a few words.
That's fine.
Poor editor.
Hopefully they defected to Canada where they belong.
And high-profile Post staffers have publicly expressed their dismay, as many in the paper's opinion section are furious, simply furious over how the situation was handled.
Why? They endorsed no one. It's not like they endorsed the guy they didn't like.
I know.
They just said, we're going to be an actual news organization. God forbid.
For many current and former staffers of the venerable newspaper, more like the venereal newspaper, the timing of the announcement was highly suspect and has led them to believe Bezos' business interests influenced the decision. Duh, you think, maybe? Former Post executive editor Marty Barron, who led the paper under Bezos during the first Trump administration, called the decision an act of cowardice to declare a moment
of getting behind the candidate that you know isn't going to get you shot is a sign of cowardice.
Yeah.
I think backing, a particular candidate because all of your little floozy, ditty friends think you should, that's cowardice. I think saying, forget you, I'm going to try to be a news organization, that took stones.
Yeah. To declare a moment of high principle only 11 days before the election is just highly suspect that it is, that is just not to be believed.
Wait, let me get this right. It's highly suspect if you have principles.
I know.
11 days before an election. Are you guys listening to yourselves?
Barron told CNN's Michael Smerconish on, I hope I never have to pronounce that name again, on Saturday morning.
It's a great name, Smerconish. It sounds like a city in Washington State.
Yeah, it does. It probably is. Trump has threatened Bezos continually, Barron noted, but when Barron was in charge of the newspaper, Bezos resisted that pressure, and he was proud and grateful for that leadership.
Wait, what? Trump has threatened?
That's according to the whiny boy who's pissed off.
And they put the word continually in quotations, so what does that mean?
I don't even know.
And what do they mean by threatened? You can't just blip over that. That means nothing.
I know. Bezos has other commercial interests, a big stake in Amazon. He has a space company called Blue Origin, Barron said. Trump has threatened to pursue his political enemies, and he rewards his friends, and he punishes his perceived political and think there's no other explanation for what's happening right now.
That's a bald-faced lie. Trump has not threatened to pursue his political enemies. He has been pursued by his political enemies, but not once has he threatened to pursue them.
Barron said Post publisher Will Lewis's defense of the non-endorsement was laughable, noting that the Post is endorsed in other races.
And they shouldn't.
If their philosophy is readers can make up their own minds on the big issues that they face in this democracy, me inserting words, that should be the philosophy.
Literally.
Then don't run any editorials, Barron said. But the fact is they only decided not to run an editorial in this one instance 11 days before the election. In a statement to CNN on Saturday, Lewis pushed back on reports about Bezos' role in the endorsement decision. Reporting around the role of the Washington Post owner and the decision not to publish a presidential endorsement has been inaccurate, Lewis said. He was not sent, did not read, and did not opine on any draft. As publisher, I do not believe in presidential endorsements.
Amen.
Good. I now have newfound respect for the Washington Post.
They're conflating editorial with endorsement. Those are two completely different things.
Yeah.
If you want to run an editorial, fine, do that. Put opinion big and bold across the top, and then have somebody with a different opinion.
Right.
That's cowardly if you cannot do that.
As publisher, we are an independent newspaper and should support our readers' ability to make up their own minds. Several current Post journalists told CNN they have no problem with the editorial board not endorsing in any situation, with some actively agreeing with the decision. But they all found the timing of the announcement extremely troubling. Deciding that now, right before an election, puts us in a lose-lose position. Cowards for caving or whining over not endorsing Harris, which the Trump campaign is already trying to use to undermine us, one Post journalist told CNN. Another told CNN that people are angry and feel like senior managers are undermining their journalism.
Yeah, it's not journalism to endorse a candidate.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. It's undermining
Others-
journalism by opining and not calling it an opinion.
Okay. Others expressed deep concern the wave of readers reacting to the news have canceled their subscriptions, something that will directly impact the newsroom's ability to function. Robert Kagan, a Post columnist and opinion editor at large, who had been with the paper for 25 years, publicly resigned on Friday as a direct result of the non-endorsement. By the way, what's another name for Robert?
Dick?
No.
Oh.
No. I was about to do my Bob impersonation.
Oh, Bob. Oh, I'm sorry, Bob.
It's all right.
Are after 25
This is
years?
obviously an effort by Jeff Bezos to curry favor with Donald Trump in the anticipation of his possible victory. Possible, my butt. Kagan told CNN's Aaron Burnett out front on Friday. Trump is threatening to go after Bezos' business. Bezos runs one of the largest companies in America. They have tremendously intricate relations with federal government. They depend on the federal government.
They shouldn't.
On Friday, Trump met with executives from Blue Origin, the space exploration company owned by Bezos, hours after the Post announced its decision Friday. The company has a $3.4 billion contract with the federal government to build a new spacecraft to scuttle astronauts to and from the moon's surface. That's pretty cool, seeing as how Boeing failed monstrously. Trump advisors and supporters have
Musk
been
had to bail him out.
crowing since both the Post and the Los Angeles Times billionaire owners stepped in to prevent their papers from endorsing Harris. A post on X by a Post reporter noting that Trump met with Blue Origin executives the same day the Post declined to endorse Harris was reposted by Trump spokesman Stephen Chung along with multiple love emojis. Trump senior advisor Stephen Miller also pounced on the non-endorsement, writing, "You know the Kamala campaign is sinking when even the Washington Post refuses to endorse."
She's a terrible candidate.
She is. She's horrible. The Democratic Party has some intelligent people in their ranks. They should have been able to come up with somebody different.
Yeah, they got
Sorry.
no bench. It's crazy.
Earlier in the week, the Trump
They
camp.
had to go with the diversity hire, otherwise they'd be called racist and whatever.
Earlier in the week, the Trump campaign used the Los Angeles Times' non-endorsement and fundraising email, calling it a humiliating blow for Harris. Other staffers said the decision not to endorse will ultimately harm American democracy.
No.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
So-called news organizations endorsing is directly messing with democracy.
Even though Lewis claimed in his note to readers that the move should not be seen as a tacit endorsement of one candidate or as a condemnation of the other.
That's kind of the point.
In a joint statement, legendary Post journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of Watergate fame naturally called the
Everything's
decision
Watergate. Everybody's
surprising and
Hitler. Everything's
disappointing.
worse than Watergate.
Noting the timing of the announcement ignores the Washington Post's own overwhelming reportorial evidence on the threat Donald Trump poses to democracy.
Give me a break.
A group of 17 Post opinion columnists also published a statement Friday evening criticizing their own paper's decision not to endorse a candidate in the presidential election as a terrible mistake.
I think they all sound like Bob as well.
The Washington Post decision not... No, I aim to please. The Washington Post decision not to make an endorsement of the presidential campaign is a terrible mistake, they wrote. It represents an abandonment of the fundamental editorial convictions of the paper that we love and for which we have worked a combined 218 years.
What a bunch of babies.
Bob in the break room He worked there for 112 himself.
And now he can be president. Come on, guys. You work at a newspaper that's run by the captain of a love boat. Let it go.
The Love Boat.
It's just criminy.
Oh, by the way, the guy who sang the Love Boat theme, he passed on too.
Oh,
Jack
did he?
Jones. Yeah.
Wasn't that Tony the Tiger?
No, that was the guy. That was Thurl Ravenscroft who sang "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch."
Oh,
Yeah.
he didn't sing the Love Boat?
Then it would have come out, "Love exciting and new."
It's great.
It's great.
Come on, it would have sounded awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I thought you said we were done with the poop jokes.
That is that we've already gone over. Oh wait, no wait. That's not. That's not. It's not a poop joke. It just happens to be a toilet with the NPR.
Okay, where
logo
they
in it.
belong.
Yeah.
A conservative Christian gathering aimed at women is set to take place on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. this Saturday, so that would have been
Past yesterday.
Drawing attention from both supporters and critics. According to NPR, the event known as Women for America is expected to bring together thousands of women who share concerns about issues such as abortion, the rainbow people, and what organizers describe as the erosion of traditional values.
God forbid we should have traditional values
God
in this
forbid.
great nation of ours.
The rally, organized by prominent conservative Christian figures, aims to unite women who feel their voices have been marginalized. They have in mainstream political discourse. It has. Event organizers emphasize the importance of faith, family, and freedom. Oh, good gravy. No wonder they're upset. As core principles guiding their movement.
And other F words.
According to... True. Well, the family came from... Never mind. According to NPR, the gathering has attracted scrutiny from extremism experts who express concerns about some of the event's messaging and affiliations. However, supporters of the rally argue that such characterizations unfairly stigmatize conservative women exercising their First Amendment rights. One of the event's key organizers, Sarah Thompson, told NPR, "We're here to celebrate the strength and values of American women who love God, their families, and their country. This isn't about extremism. It's about empowering women to stand up for what they believe in." Well, in the eyes of leftists, that is extremism. You should not be allowed those rights. You should not be considered a whole woman. You shouldn't even be allowed to play in your own sports. You certainly shouldn't be out there having kids and not, ripping them limb from your womb. And, sorry, I might have editorialized just a tiny bit. The rally is expected to feature a lineup of speakers, including conservative politicians, religious leaders, and media personalities. Topics slated for discussion.
Would have loved for you to be able to go to that.
Yeah, it would have been fun. Include protecting the sanctity of life, preserving women's sports, and defending parental rights in education. Golly, didn't I just say all that?
Yeah.
Only not quite as succinct.
Not quite as...
A little bit more ragey.
A little bit more ragey.
While the event has garnered support from various conservative groups, it has also faced criticism from progressive organizations. Of course it has. According to NPR, which is garbage, unfortunately, that your taxpayers...
National
your tax
Pissant
dollars,
Radio.
yeah. Some civil rights groups have expressed concern that the rally's messaging could contribute to divisiveness and potentially marginalize certain communities. Oh, no! If you want to live in a world where Christians are considered extremists, then Kamala is you gal. Don't post bad grammar, people. It just makes you look dumb. However, event organizers... Well, what's the thing? Extremism experts are keeping an eye, yeah. Event organizers and supporters contend that such criticisms mischaracterize their intentions. Jane Roberts, a scheduled speaker at the event, told NPR, "We're not here to spread hate or division. We're here to unite women who share common values and concerns about the directions of our country." What the left doesn't understand is that two things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
I can love my country, a candidate, my children, my family, and not hate you.
Right.
I don't have to hate anybody. I can love, what is the, love is love who you want, this and that. That doesn't automatically mean that you have to hate everybody who isn't that thing that you love.
Right.
It's ridiculous. The gathering comes at a time of heightened political tension in the United States, with issues such as abortion rights and gender identity at the forefront of the national debate. Supporters of the rally argue that it provides a necessary platform for conservative women who feel their perspectives are often overlooked in mainstream media and politics. They are 100%. According to NPR, law enforcement agencies are preparing for the event with measures in place to ensure the safety of both participants and potential counter-protesters. It's for the safety of the freakadelic, rainbow-haired, pierced, tattooed, crazy people who like to get violent is what they're there for. The National Park Service has issued permits for the gathering, emphasizing the right to peacefully assemble on federal grounds, as is our constitutional right. Despite the controversy surrounding the event, many conservative women view it as an opportunity to network, share ideas, and mobilize for future political action. Sarah Johnson, a rally attendee from Ohio, told NPR, "This event gives us a chance to come together and realize we're not alone. There are millions of women across America who share our values and concerns." So it goes on to tell you a little bit more about what it's about,
right,
and all that stuff.
But the funny part is we have the NPR article, which is a transcript of a show, and they take a very different approach. Just I'm going to go ahead and we're going to reenact this.
We're going to do a dramatic reading.
NPR.
Wait, are we doing voices? What do you think Odette Youssef sounds like?
I don't know. Extremism experts are keeping an eye on an event targeted at women in Washington, D.C. A conservative Christian gathering on the National Mall Saturday aims to bring together anti-LGBTQ, anti-abortion, and QAnon activists.
Wait, what? What now?
Oh,
I thought QAnon died in 2016.
QAnon was... I don't even know how real that was, but anyway, it was a group of people who believed certain things about...
It was some guy on Reddit or something that was, I don't know.
Today, the part of Scott Simon, the host of whatever the hell, Weekend Edition Saturday, will be played by James Moniz, and Odette Youssef, the guest, will be portrayed by Ms. Melanie Hope.
Okay, so is Odette evil or a good person?
I don't know.
I can't tell.
Calls for atonement today on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., not to mark Yom Kippur, but calls by Christian leaders urging what they call Esters to make amends. We're going to turn now to NPR domestic extremism correspondent Odette Youssef.
Oh, yeah, she's got to be a fruit.
Odette, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure thing.
The organizer of this event called for 1 million women to gather at the mall. How do they use the term Esters? What's that?
So to understand this, we have to look at the Hebrew Bible. This is a reference to the book of Esther's.
No, there is no book of Esther's, you spaz.
And there's also no Revelations.
Esther.
Which tells the story set in the 5th century BCE of Esther, the Jewish wife of the Persian king. And according to this story, Esther became aware that one of the king's courtiers was organizing a pogrom against the Jews. And she's urged by her relative, a man named Mordecai, actually her father, to use her position of influence to thwart that plot. And she does. So today's rally is happening on the Jewish Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, and it's calling on Christian women, the Esthers, and the men in their lives, the Mordecais, to fast and pray and gather on the mall for the deliverance of the nation. And really, Scott, this is the national culmination of dozens of state-based rallies that were held back in the spring at state capitals under the tagline, "Don't mess with our kids." And those had attendance that ranged from the hundreds to the thousands.
And what do they want to communicate with that slogan, "Don't mess with our kids"?
Yeah, it's not very specific, right? And I think maybe that's by design, to sort of roll in people who have been activated around several disparate issues in the last few years.
I wish I could have listened to her because I would be doing her voice.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing the Moms for Liberty types
Gasp.
who have built influence through anti-LGBTQ campaigns. We're also likely to see people who want to see a national abortion ban. And then there are people who believe in the QAnon conspiracy theory. I spoke with Matthew Taylor. He's a senior scholar at the Institute for Islamic, Christian, and Jewish Studies, and he says that these narratives that inspire fear over children being abused can be dangerous.
So can child abuse. I'm
What?
sorry.
What?
I was out of character there. Hold on. The way that they're ratcheting up the rhetoric about the threat to children in and of itself, I think, is dangerous in the way that it creates a permission structure that says we have to do whatever we can to stop this group because otherwise our children will suffer or die because of them.
I'm not seeing an issue there.
So it'll be interesting, Scott, to see how this energy that was really developed in the last 4 years at the local level with these school board fights and library fights translates when it comes together nationally in these weeks before the election.
And who organized this event?
Satan! Sorry. The organizers are Jenny Donnelly and Lou Engel. Both of them are connected to a network known as the New Apostolic Reform or
Apostolic.
whatever. Or I don't know. Apple Pod.
It's okay.
The
Don't
NAR.
make it any worse.
And the NAR is a collection of non-denominational. She's stupid. What do you know?
Yeah,
of
that's
non-denominational charismatic churches and leaders. Some of them call themselves prophets and apostles. And this network has been very closely tied with former President Botard Blumph. And Taylor, the religious scholar that we heard from earlier, says that when Trump became president, he played a key role in sort of shifting the seat of power within the religious right to emphasize this NAR network.
By the way, slight editorial pause for James Russell Monis. We're Christians. We do call ourselves prophets and apostles because that's what we are.
Yeah.
Next. The last 4 years has in many ways completely changed the
Maybe not so much
landscape of the religion.
prophets, but you know,
What's that?
maybe not so much prophets.
Well,
but,
some of us are. I'm not. But
it's kinda
apostles, definitely. The last 4 years has in many ways completely changed the landscape of the religious right in America in the Trump era to the point where many of the most active religious leaders in our politics right now are people that 90% of the country have never heard of. Better that way.
Huh?
I don't know.
So, again, this event isn't explicitly political, but Taylor says that in 2020 there were similar gatherings they held in D.C. ahead of that election, and that helped build energy for Trump. And we can't have that because Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad. And after Election Day, that energy was directed towards stop the steal efforts, and of course, ultimately,
January 6th.
worse than the apocalypse, worse than Hitler, worse than 9/11, the day that will live in infamy.
Pearl Harbor.
January 6th. You know, political violence researchers this time don't expect another January 6th at the Capitol. Actually, no, there's going to be another January 6th at the Capitol and a 7th and an 8th and a 9th. It's not like you can just blip over a day.
They're idiots.
These people really this done.
Yeah.
And you know what else there's going to be? A July 4th. They even have those in England.
That's true.
Yeah. But there is closer attention now to the narratives that are unifying Trump supporters and the question of where that energy will go if he loses. Oh, but hasn't the current cabbage in chief, who supposedly is still running the country even though he doesn't know where he is, wasn't he the unifier, the great unifier? So aren't we supposed to be unified and filled with joy? So wouldn't you be thrilled if women found a way to unify themselves?
NPR's Odette Youssef. Definitely not a Christian name. Thank you so much for being with us, Odette.
Thank you. I mean, wow.
So, yeah.
So people who don't want to murder their children and would kind of...
And just want to have a basic knowledge that what their schools are doing with their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're terrorists.
These people are insane. Trump has broken these, and it wasn't even him. Just their idea of who they think he is. They're broken. These are broken, evil people.
Indeed.
Your turn.
Indeed.
Wait, no, that was our turn. Whose turn is it now?
We both did that one.
And Kamala Harris plagiarized, blah, blah, blah. That seems to be like the thing now.
Yeah, she posted...
Nobody writes their own book. Very, very airbrushed because she don't look like that.
Well, this was also in 2009. She did look like that.
I guess maybe.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who's pretending to be black, she really should do something with her hair to make herself look black. So several passages. Now, we're not just talking like a snippet here or there. She literally copied and pasted
Chunks.
an entire
Chunks.
Wikipedia article.
That's just crazy.
Several
So, yeah,
passages.
this book she came out, so Smart on Crime. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Makes
wanna-
us safer by jailing guys well past their sentencing so that she could have slave labor. Yeah, so basically she didn't write her own book. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Next.
Next, okay. That's fine with me. Here's yet another example, another exhibit. Biden is not Trump.
Biden's not alive, but okay.
Yeah, well, anyway. The US,
Wait. No, I want to make sure that we understand because he's told us in no uncertain terms that not a single troop has died while he was in office, completely forgetting all the Marines that he murdered. That there
let's just
are
forget about
no,
Afghanistan then.
There are no active troops currently
whatsoever.
right now in any war zones at all. That we will never have troops in Ukraine. And oh wait, what's this? To quote one
Your
of our
best Mark
favorite
Dyson
YouTube-
person.
Yeah.
Wait, what's this?
Can't
The
quite
US
get his stelter down, but yeah.
The U.S. said Wednesday that 3,000 North Korean troops have been deployed to Russia and are training at several locations,
Wait.
calling the move.
Wait, deployed to Russia?
Yeah.
I'm so
Training at several
confused.
locations. Well, you'll see.
Okay,
You'll
so
see.
now North Korea, China, and Russia are buddies?
Yeah.
Good job, Biden.
Yeah, calling the move very serious and warning that those forces will be fair game if they go into combat in Ukraine. How can they be fair game if we don't have any troops in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
No, we've had
deployment
troops
raises
for
the
quite a while.
potential for the North Koreans to join Russian forces in Ukraine and suggests expanded military ties between the two nations as Moscow seeks weapons and troops to gain ground in a grinding war that is stalemated after more than 2 years.
Which will end within 2 days of Trump being in office.
Yeah, that will come to an end. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin called it a next step after the North has provided Russia with arms and said Pyongyang could face consequences for aiding Russia directly.
Oh, I'm sure they're shaking in their
Yeah,
boots
yeah,
considering
they're
all the
quaking their
nothing
boots.
that you've been doing
All
to
the
them.
gigantic nothings have been dropped on them.
Yeah.
His comments were the first public U.S. confirmation of North Korea sending troops to Russia, a development South Korean officials disclosed, but was denied, of course, by Pyongyang and Moscow. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby said the U.S. believes that at least 3,000 North Korean soldiers traveled by ship to Vladivostok, Russia's largest Pacific port, in early to mid-October.
I hope that Russia feeds them because these poor guys are always hungry.
These soldiers then traveled onward to multiple Russian military training sites in eastern Russia, where they are currently undergoing training, Kirby said. We do not yet know whether these soldiers will enter into combat alongside the Russian military, but this is certainly a highly concerning probability. Kirby said they could go to western Russia and then engage in combat against Ukraine's forces, but both he and Austin said the U.S. continues to assess the situation
we're
and do
assessing all
nothing.
over the place.
Exactly what the North Korean troops are doing in Russia was left to be seen, Austin told reporters in Rome. He added, if they are co-belligerents, their intention is to participate in this war.
Co-belligerents?
Co-belligerents, great name.
I want a badge. Hello, I'm a co-belligerent.
Their intention is to participate in this war on Russia's behalf. That is a very, very serious issue and will have impacts not only in Europe, it will also impact things in the Indo-Pacific. Kirby warned, however, I can tell you one thing, though, if they do deploy to fight against Ukraine, they're fair game, nothing will happen. He said a key question is what North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un is getting out of this. Russia and North Korea have sharply boosted their cooperation in the last 2 years during the Biden administration, and in June they signed a major defense deal requiring both countries to use all available means to provide immediate military assistance if either is attacked. South Korean officials worry that Russia may reward North Korea by giving it sophisticated weapons technologies that could boost its nuclear and missile programs that target South Korea.
Trump had ended that.
It was all under control.
That was ended. Rocket Man hadn't sent up a rocket for... Now he's just firing at will. Knock yourself out.
Well, they've seemed a weak leader.
Yeah.
Biden is. And
Kamala's
Harris is
even
gonna be
weaker.
Harris is going to be even worse.
She comes in there and she tries to affect their accent. Can't you just see her trying to talk? Hello, Putin. I am Russian now, too.
Get Moose and
Eat her
Squirrel.
for
Anyway.
lunch. He'll eat her for lunch.
Yeah.
Nobody takes her seriously.
No. Anyway, just on and on and on. And it's just more and more of the same. It's several different experts saying the exact same thing I just read.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but I am going to ask you to get out and vote with the understanding that my birthday is November 7th. You will vote before November 5th. All I ask, and like I said, I'm not telling you who to vote for. All I ask for is lower grocery prices, world peace, and mean tweets. And that's all I'm going to say. Hey,
Anybody who's listened to our show for the last 5 years knows where you stand on it.
Yes.
So this isn't exactly a big shocker. Ooh, shocker.
Shaka laka laka. Well, this will probably tick off some people because I know there are a lot of people who get their panties in a twist talking about this organization, but they do a lot of good.
Plus their food's yum.
Yeah, so let's head on into my favorite segment as we wrap up our show. Here we go. Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller. Our final story tonight. Jim, you timed it just right to make sure that I'm the one who has to read this one.
I don't plan this.
You do, because you're I haven't read this, and I'm probably going to cry. All right. So one of our favorite restaurants that, of course, we did not go to today because it's Sunday. A Houston Chick-fil-A recently went far above and beyond the typical customer service to surprise a terminally ill regular with a bucket list experience of sorts. Bill and Becky decided 20 years ago as they approached retirement, they'd set out to visit every state capital. Oh gosh, that'd be so fun. But as the years went by, they never found a good time to visit Juneau, Alaska. Now, I have been there. Now carrying a terminal cancer diagnosis, Bill and his partner Becky of more than 50 years had all but accepted this bucket list adventure would end on a dour note. But when the Springwoods Village location of Chick-fil-A found out about Bill's unfulfilled dream, they decided, in honor of the two longtime regulars, to contact a location in Juneau. It's Juneau. I want to say Juneau, and concoct a plan. Bill and Becky mean so much to our team, and we wanted to do what we could to help them complete their bucket list, said Mike, Magdaleno. Isn't he the
No, he's not
of
related to Mary.
Oh, dang it. He caught me. Local Chick-fil-A owner-operator. We loved channeling a spirit for adventure from Alaska to Texas, and we're honored to play a small part in helping them achieve this incredible milestone. A Juneau. Why do I keep saying Juneau?
Juneau.
Yeah. Well, they do speak.
Yeah.
You say it now. Now I'm afraid to say it.
Juneau.
Just
Juneau, like Juneau.
Juneau, you pronounce it like
Juneau,
this.
you
Juneau,
pronounce
that
it
is how you
Juneau.
okay. Chick-fil-A team got a hold of a photograph from Bill and Becky's wedding day, blew it up into a cardboard cutout, and began placing it in front of iconic Juneau sites, including the state capitol building and the Mendenhall Glacier, where a visual artist used their wedding photo as inspiration to draw them sitting comfortably in front of the glacier as if they had visited in their 20s. That is so precious. Look at them. Okay, now we got to go back and look what they look like. Aww. Okay, now we got to go back and look at it. Okay. Aww. So here they are in front of the city hall. And here they are, I'm not sure where, but it's so cute. And they send the pictures back. The team then took all these photos and made a scrapbook, placed it in a basket with they even got souvenirs and mailed it to the Houston Springwoods Village location as a surprise. That is so cute. As an extra touch, the touring Chick-fil-A team members signed Bill and Becky's names in the Capitol Building visitors log. Oh, and they put together this beautiful scrapbook with all kinds of fun things, and we got little tchotchkes and stickers and all kinds of fun stuff. Where's the drawing of them? I wanted to see the drawing. They didn't show the drawing.
They didn't show the drawing.
Yeah, it said an artist did a drawing.
Hold on. Let me see if I
Sitting
can find
comfortably
it
in
real
front of
quick.
the glacier as if they had visited in their 20s. I want to see that.
Hold on.
This is the cutest idea. Lone Star Live reports that Bill and Becky met in 1972.
Here it is. Click on the link at the bottom there. The
Okay.
reports. The word reports.
Reports. Here.
Reports.
Reports.
And scroll down part way and you'll see it.
Okay. Disable my ad blockers. Blah. I hate that. Okay. I'm Swedish chefing my way through this. Okay. Polar bear. Aww.
Keep on going.
I'm loving this. It's so cute. And they signed the registry for them. It's so sweet. Oh, there they are. Ah, welcome to the glacier. Chick-fil-A team, blah, 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 blah. It's the same basic article.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are looking at the book. Oh, it's so sweet. They work, Bill and Becky met working at a telephone company in 1972 when they were both in their 20s. They've shared more than 50 years of love, building a large family with 5 kids, 17 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. Here's the Chick-fil-A letter. We know your shared dream of visiting all 50 state capitals has been a remarkable journey, a testament to your adventurous spirit and the love you both share for exploration. While your travels have taken you to nearly every corner of the country, we understand that Alaska's state capital will remain the one you're unable to visit together. Oh, this is so sweet.
That is just amazing.
That is just precious. However, we wanted to honor your incredible journey with the help of the representatives at the Alaska State Capitol. We are thrilled to let you know that your names have been proudly added to their visitor log. They were overjoyed to help fulfill your dream, and they send their warmest wishes along with keepsakes and a special note from their offices. In this small way, we hope you feel Alaska's presence with you. My experience with Alaskans is they are the sweetest people. I've been to Alaska many times, both as a child and as an adult, and I've always met the nicest, oddest, but sweetest people, and it's so nice to see this. This is really, really sweet. Well, folks, that's how we like to end it, on a high note, and we sincerely enjoy being part of your day. May you spend the rest of your week just being kind to each other, and we will see you next time.
Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, "Be a guest on our show."
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See
See you
next
week.